Can I move the following place? There. Thank you. Good evening. Yeah, evening, and welcome back. So third session, we will follow what we left off yesterday. Just to add, Manila just talk about the medicine Buddha commitment. It's the commitment is not one mala.
I'm wrong, my apologies.
Yes, but no, you it's okay. Actually, it's less than that. One mantra. One mantra. Just one mantra. Once in a day. The very least is once in a day. Okay. Yeah, good mistake. Yeah. If you make mistake like that. Yeah. So the mantra, there is also a visualization too. Basically, the thing is that there are two commitments. One is to regard medicine Buddha as your deity, which is not that difficult. But what that outlines is that you have to remember or recall that medicine Buddha once a day, which you will do if you recite the mantra anyways. So regard medicine Buddha as your deity, first commitment, and recite the mantra of medicine Buddha at least once a day. Yeah. That's the only commitment. For the Vajrasattva, there is no commitment. Yeah. So that's a good news. Yeah. Okay. So before we begin, there was some question yesterday after the session. So I thought some of the audience, some of the students asked a few questions. So I thought maybe beneficial for all of us. Yeah. So the question was that I mean the Bardo training that we are doing is for ourselves, or I mean for the human beings. So we can we are the fortunate ones. We can meditate, we can visualize, recite all this. So for the unfortunate ones, such as our pets, and also beings that cannot meditate, etc. So what is the sort of solution for them to have a swift passage? Yeah. And so usually we talk about top sum. Okay, three top. Once again, top means power. Last night we talked about 5 powers, 5 forces. In Tibetan, top means power. Okay. But I just used the term force, powerful force. Last night we talked about the 5 forces. Then there is something called 3 forces or 3 power. Okay, they are usually known as Top, meditative, the power of meditation or concentration. The power of recitation. Power, literally the power of mantra. Power of mantra, the power of meditation, and the power of substance. Yeah. So 3 powers are there, or 3 forces are there. Basically, what that means is, in order to bless someone, in order to benefit someone, it can be done through 3 different ways. The first one is through meditation, which, of course, you have to do it alone. You have to do it on your own, right? You cannot meditate for others. The second one is through incantation, basically the recitation of the mantra, the power of mantra, or the force of the power of mantra. Let's call it 3 powers, right? The power of concentration, which is meditation, which can be done only for yourself. Cannot do meditation for others. Yeah, like you cannot drink for others, right? You have to drink for yourself, eat for yourself. Power of meditation for yourself alone. The power of incantation, power of reciting a mantra, yeah, this you can do for others, for yourself, of course, and for others too. Basically, especially like then the second one is the power of substance. That means blessed substance, holy substances, like the Manya Lupu, the pill, this and that, like medicine Buddha pill, different substances that we receive. We do have this tradition of collecting what we call in Tibetan sana chuna, collection of earth and collection of water. Basically, that means we go to holy places for pilgrimage. We pick up some small objects, some substances from those holy places like Varanasi, Bodh Gaya, we places pick up some of the dust there, and some of the holy what we have the chumik or the holy springs. Yeah, we pick up water from there, and then bring home, and then we make we mix that with a large container, and then we either make it into pills. Anyway, basically the holy substances, and also if you are familiar with the inner offering, Nangchu, in the so anyway that one. So there's holy sub. Anyway, the holy substance basically something that you can induce. Yeah. So the last one, the holy substance or the substance, basically. Then the incantation, the power of incantation and the power of substance can be used for animals and also human beings. Some of them whom are, we have this instances like, okay, my father is at the very last stage, and he is not a Buddhist, does not follow Dharma, any of these things. He doesn't know how to, has never followed any Dharma, this and that, so not familiar with anything. So therefore, for him at the last stages, what can I do, right? So for this, you can do the second, the second and the third one, the incantation and the holy substance. Give him the money pill, this and that. And also the mandala, the sand or the dust from the sand mandala. I know everybody calls it sand mandala. It's not sand. You know that, right? Yeah, it's actually crushed marble. Yeah, it's marble made from marble, like marble stone. And then we crush them and give it natural pigmentation, color them. And that's how you make mandala. So, the Zen mandala, the dust from the Zen mandala, basically mandala is the abode, the residence of that particular deity, like Cherizig or Manjushri. And we're just like we talk about the sana chuna. When we go to holy places, we take the sana, the collection of dust, chuna, the collection of water from different holy places. We just mentioned that. Like that, the mandala is also blessed by that particular deity. If it's a medicine Buddha mandala, medicine Buddha bless that place. So we regard that as the actual abode of medicine Buddha. So the kinkor, the sand or the dust from the mandala is also used as a holy substance. And if the mandala is properly made, done, and is properly consecrated, properly made, properly consecrated, and properly dissolved, dissolution, everything done properly, all the ritual, everything followed properly, then that mandala, the dust from that mandala can be used as a substance to, we have this tradition in Tibet to use that as a substitute for po. You have heard of po, right? The transmission, right? Of course, within po, there are different level of po, right? Dugu po, Lugu po, like different level of po. And if you are not able to get any of those po, in rare cases when you are not able to get po for the deceased dying person, then you can use the dust or the mandala, the dust from the Zen mandala to place on the crown of the dying person. Usually we use a little bit of butter and then smear the butter on the crown and then put the, what do you call that, the dust on there. So it sticks. Then it helps it helps them to have a proper propulsion, that's what you call, like project, to have a proper transference. Yeah, like that. So yeah, these are the holy substances. So there are many more, but these are just some of the few. And And of course, we have the relics, right? Relics from the Buddha, relics from the Arahats, relics from different masters, all that. So all these holy substances can be used to be induced to give them that pet, this and that, feed them. Then they are blessed to have a smooth passage. Yeah, like that. The incantation, when we recite the mantra, even though they do not know the meaning of the mantra, so mantra has the power. We talk about the vibrations, right? The mantra, the difference between, I mean, we have like all this like extensive text on Chenrezig, and then we have Om Mani Padme Hum, and we usually say that Om Mani Padme Hum is equal to all this and that. So the reason is because it has been blessed in such a way that the mantra has that vibration, has the ability to invoke some special I don't know, like virtuous thing, positivity within the mindset of the person who is dying. So we see that a lot of time people who are not accustomed to Buddhist ritual or anything, but then when they hear certain mantras being chanted, this and that, then they feel the vibration and all that. Basically, they feel elevated, right? They feel elevated, and if at that moment of elevation, if you could use that moment of elevation to focus on the positive mindset, basically a virtuous mindset like bodhicitta, this and that, then it will help you to, how to say, basically that the virtue is the virtue that you accumulated, the merit and the virtue that you accumulate is overcharged, for lack of a better word. And that's why we have the term multiplication of a virtue on a certain specific dates. Like on the Buddha's birthday, this and that, we usually say the Sagadawa, the Vesak, that the virtuous activities are multiplied 100,000 times, 200,000 times, like that. The thing is, there's no way doing it one time is equal to 100,000 times, right? It is not mathematically possible. What it's actually saying is that when you do it on that particular day, the value of that mantra is multiplied. So we know that, right? Like anything, the value can change at different times, even though it's one object, depending on supply and demand, a value of a certain object can change, right? So therefore, yeah, like that. And then on the 15th, on the special occasions, right? The 15th, the full moon day, this and that, when we do a certain just think that it's being multiplied like that. Yeah. So that at that time, there's an elevation takes place within your spiritual plane, and that helps you. If you are able to set your mind on a positive note, then it will help everything to run, to say, more effective, more smoothly, etc. Like that. We all know that on the 15th, usually what happens is this is going to sound very far-fetched, okay? But anyway, so on the 15th, on a full moon day, the ocean rises, the moon pulls the water, and our body is made out of water, right? 70% water. So there is a correlation. I'm not saying there's a causation, but there's a correlation there. And many other things also. So like on the 15th, many people who do the meditation, which analyze when they do the meditation on the 15th day and the other days, there is a significant sort of change coming, significant transformation taking place. So anyway, power of substance, the power of substance, the power of incantation, and the power of concentration. Through these three, one is able to help beings who are who cannot meditate, who cannot understand the Dharma, etc. Okay. Now we will start with the prayer. We will just do the Sangye Chozomo. Hmm? Okay. Sangye Chozoma, and then we will do the page. We will start with page number 4, and then we will do the page number 2. Okay. Preliminary prayers. The first line, the first verse. Yeah. Sangye Chedan Zoye Chonam Lo Chanju Pardo Ni Jafuchi Daye Jinzo Gibe Sonam Gi Dola Benju Sangye Chupa Sho Sangye Chedan Zoye Chonam Lo Chanju Pardo Ni Jafuchi Daye Jinzo Gibe Sonam Gi Dola Benju Sangye Chupa Sho Sangye Chedan Zoye Chonam Lo Chanju Pardo Ni Jafuchi Daye Jinzo Gibe Sonam Gi Dola Benju Sangye Chupa Sho. Page number 2. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Thank you. Sai Shiva Yi Chu Shi Me Mo Mai Ji Ra Mai Ji Shi Ni De Ge Bai De Sangye Shi To Me Do Namai Dai Shi Lao Je Pai Shou Yi Da Mo Guru Ran and Allah Kamni Yanda Okay. So yesterday we have like 4 subcategories, right? So we had to stop at the 5 forces, 5 powerful forces, and one sort of subcategory from the content was left behind, which was to die courageously and bravely, joyfully. Mm. So where we stopped was the 5 powerful forces, and so the 5 powerful forces is a very important practice. There is a reference in the basically it says that Teijin Poet Dangani Tongani Julam which basically means the Poa instruction in the Mahayana tradition is none other than the practice of the 5 powerful forces, which we 5 forces which we discussed last night. So here, Teichin or Mahayana basically means we know that there is like the Vajrayana or Tantrayana, the Mahayana, the Hinayana, or what we refer to as Theravada, or to put it more correctly, Vajrayana, Mahayana, and Sharvakayana. So these are the 3, right? So in this context, Mahayana basically refers to what we usually call the common Mahayana. Or the Mahayana is in 2 parts: the common Mahayana, uncommon. Uncommon is Vajrayana. Common is Bodhisattva practices without Bodhisattva practices minus the Vajrayana technique. So that is what we refer to as Mahayana. So normally when we talk about Poa, we usually have a certain Lama doing a Poa for you, or doing all these different substances and ritual. All these are part of ritualistic aspect are part of the Tantrayana. Yeah. And you might think there is no such thing as a power practice in the Sutrayana or take Parudushimbe Tepa, right? The common Mahayana lineage. But there is that common Mahayana lineage. If you don't believe or if you don't want to delve into Vajrayana, this and that, then the practice on power for a swift transference, the most effective practice is to do follow these five powerful forces or the five technique. So the combat top, right? The first one is combat top, the force of familiarization. What you are familiar, you'll be able to put into application at the crucial moment. If you're not familiar, you will not be able to. That's why we just to recite some mantra and this and that. So because there is not much point in explaining to them how to meditate this and that. So even for your own sake, if you have a simple but continued practice, a practice that you do occasionally or continuously, then that your regular practice is your familiar practice, the force of familiarity. You need to have one so that at the time of death, crucial moment, even at very crucial moment, you can utilize that. It comes in handy. If you are not familiar, it will not come handy. The second one is part of the force of determination, right? So you must think forward, look forward, that not to look at death as an end, but to look forward that you're just changing the plate. You're going for more buffet, right? So you are going to do more dedication. You're going to dedicate yourself for the sake of sentient beings to achieve enlightenment, do so many more things. There's like millions of possibilities that you can how to say, you can put yourself useful too. That is the part of force of determination. Then the white seed basically means accumulating good karma, positive karma. And at the time of, you have to, it says accumulation, so you have to accumulate all for, all part of your life. But especially at the time of death, you can use the offerings, the prayers, and that being done to accumulate good karma at the time of death. Even if you cannot do actual offerings, there is the Shamba in Tibetan. Ngozo Shamba is actually prepared, and then Yigi Tulpa, mentally manifested. Ngozo Shamba, actually prepared offerings. How much we can offer? We can offer like only this much on this altar. Ngozo Shamba, actually prepared, and then Yigi Tulpa, mentally manifested. Mentally manifestation, innumerable, right? So at the time of death, you can manifest. You may have like one butter lamp or something, but you can manifest thousands to illuminate. Yeah, which is the power of a white seed accumulation. Then refutation, right? Refute, basically refuting what you have been believing, you have been holding on to, clutching on to, grudging on to, clutching on to until now. Even now, at the time of your death, you are still clutching to an inherently existing truthful thing. Basically, everything is interdependently arising, interdependently existing. Nothing is independent. Everything is interdependent. Your problems, your happiness, your joy, your sorrow, everything is interdependent. Nothing exists on its own. But when we feel those emotions, when we are sad, we feel like that is the only source of my sorrow. When we feel happy, we think like, when we are very happy, excited, we feel like that is the only source of my joyfulness. And that is like when we observe, we can see that it comes from different cause and condition. But instinctively, whenever we go through our emotions, be it good or bad, we feel as if that is the only truth, the ultimate truth, nothing but the truth, solidifyingly existing, appearing from that side, and also existing from that side, from externally appearing and externally existing. Right? Anyway, so basically emptiness, that nothing is as such and everything is empty of such a nature. So that means emptiness. So reflecting on emptiness, that is known as the force of refutation. And the last one is prayer. So prayer is to pray to the Buddha Dharma, to Buddha Dharma Sangha, to the Triple Gem, the Bodhisattva, and all the masters to help us to have a swift passage. Yeah. So these are the 5 forces to be mindful of. You can be mindful of that yourself at any given moment, any given stages. And then to those, your loved ones and people who you are taking care of, who are in advanced stage, you can make them familiar with these sort of understanding. Especially on the emptiness part, we can tell them that nothing as it seems, whatever, and then it's true, right? Nothing as it seems. Whatever we have believed to be the best, the most effective or the most powerful source of joyfulness or happiness 10 years ago, it appears it doesn't, it turned out not to be, right? There's a saying in, there's a quote from the Bodhisattva avatar, Bodhisattvacharya avatar, yeah? When a sand castle is destroyed, how much tormented a kid is, how much tormented the kid is, and how much he cries. So yeah, so we have all these toys in all part of our life. We have these toys. We have these toys when we are a small kid called castles. They are called the car toys, video game toys, this and that. And then we become adult. We have different toys to fool around with. And then we become older. We still have different toys to fool us. So basically, toys are what we have been fooling around. Those are our toys. And those toys, we are so much passionate, so much enthusiastic, all of that, which we explained last night, right? We tend to stick so much to that. But at the time of death, we sort of experienced a simulated form of death practice last night. So you were able to kind of come to face death, and then you are able to experience what is essential and what is non-essential, and drop the non-essential and keep the essential things. So we did that last night. Yeah. So you can tell them that nothing is as it seems. Yeah, nothing as it seems. So there's nothing to hold on to. What that will help is it will have a smooth passage for the departing souls, or the departing being, the person who is dying on the deathbed. Because a lot of time, even when their fate has come to an end, they have to die, their mind is still begrudging on something and cannot let go. And that makes the journey to the next life much more difficult, because there's no other way. They have to go anyways, but they are not, going gracefully. They're not, and no matter how much you clutch on it, the more you clutch on that, the more it's going to hurt your arms or hurt yourself. It's not going to help. And then, but you're still stuck on that, and you cannot let go. And even if you depart, at the end, there is no way out. You depart. You have to depart. And after departing, you are born in a hungry ghost. You are born in a spirit. You are born in the spirit realm to roam around, to check around, to to survey. If they are stuck, if their mind is stuck to an object, a person, a house, this and that property, then they will keep roaming around that, keep making other people's life difficult, all these things. So letting go. Yeah. Okay. So the last sort of subcategory of the chapter of what we were supposed to discuss last night was to die peacefully and die courageously, joyfully and courageously. Hmm? So the sine sapes. Okay, yeah. So I didn't read that one, I think. Sine sapes senor shulgulu teaching dombe nyenam tenjelche. So the English is food and wealth accumulated through miserliness are left behind. Loving and sorrowing relatives are forever separated. When I walk alone into the terrifying place, may I be blessed to be endowed with joyful confidence. So, how can it be joyful when all the wealth that you have accumulated through miserliness, and all hard work and everything you have to leave behind, all the loved ones you so endearing care and are attached to, you have to separate them from, and you have to go into this isolated. You have to take this. You have to go into that isolated place or destination, meaning death, by yourself alone, solitary. So knowing that, how can you go joyfully, courageously? Simply by the fact that you have to do it. There is no other way, right? You have to do it. You have to leave your loved ones. You have to leave all your property, name, title, whatever you have, everything has to be left behind. If you realize that at that moment, it's going to be a shocker. It's going to make you it's going to make you stumble. But if you start preparing now, realize preparing from now, that's all. Then you don't have this attachment. You no longer have that sense of fear. For example, the most popular or the effective sort of practice example is that of making a mandala. So we all know that the mandala is being created and made upstairs by the Geshe-la, right? Whenever there's a mandala being made, we also know that it's going to be dissolved. So the creator of the mandala, the artist or the creator of the mandala, the Kushala, the Geshe-la, he also knows it's going to be dissolved, right? Because he knows that when it's being dissolved at the end, he's not going to be offended, right? If you build a house that you know will, after being built, it will be dissolved, it will be demolished. If you build it with such an understanding, such a mindset, then when it's being destroyed, you won't be offended, right? If you do not prepare your mind in such a way, then all of a sudden the house starts crumbling, then you will be in much worry. So yeah, so you tend to jump into death or jump into the next life courageously and joyfully, because you know that is the only way. So if you have to do it, why don't you do it joyfully, right? If I have to add, we can add the practice, the wisdom from Shantideva, right? If you can do something about it, why worry? If you cannot do anything about it, what's the point in worry, right? Right? So this is definite. Leave your loved ones, separate from your loved ones, leave your property, everything that you have accumulated so hard. And then when you die alone by yourself, nobody there with you. If you know that, then you will tend to learn to rely on yourself, to become more, how to say, independent in a way. Independent here meaning independent of your surroundings. Like you're no longer like dependent on the. Of course, we have to eat, drinks, food. Everything is necessary, but beyond that, we are no longer attached to it. That's why Atisha they keep saying that understanding mitapa, understanding impermanence, the Dharma starts, Dharma practice starts. Dharma is when you start practicing, you start recognizing mitapa, impermanence. There's a beautiful line from Milarepa, right? Milarepa. The line goes like this. Gomba rangi luigi cho. Lune sai porangi, right? For a temple, Gomba is temple. So for a temple, my body is sufficient, right? For a temple, my body is sufficient. Lune sai porangi. All the what do you call this thing? The important part of your body. What do you call that? Like yeah, the organs. Yeah, the organs and the points in the body. Sorry, not the organs. Sorry, the points like the chakra and all these things. So the term used was point. The point means chakra in this case. So the points in my body are the mandala of the deity. So because we build the altar to house the deity, right, in the temple. Not necessary if you can house, if you're capable, you can actually house the deity within in the chakras, because like each chakra, the 5 chakras, the 4 chakras, the 3 chakra, whatever you call, all these chakras hold different deities, can hold different deities. For a temple, the body alone is sufficient. The chakras are the abode of the deity. Lama rangi semgicho. For a lama or for a guru, my mind alone is sufficient. Lama, guru, for mind. So for guru, my mind alone. For guru, the mind alone is sufficient. Lama rangi semgicho. Ngeshe tabeke choin. Ngeshe is recognition or realization, or so Ngeshe tabeke choin, the recognition of impermanence, right? To recognizing the fact that everything is impermanent, everything is not everlasting. That is tabeke cho means a sublime being. Usually lamas, the gurus are considered noble one, sublime one, like that, right? So for a guru, my mind alone is sufficient. The conviction, the conviction or the realization, conviction basically, the conviction of the fact that everything is impermanence is the sublime teacher. For a guru, my mind alone is sufficient, because the conviction that everything is impermanent is sublime teacher. If you can get that through your mind, then you don't need an external teacher. Yeah. So of course he's telling us to, he's redirecting us to the inner teacher, right? Or the ultimate teacher. But most of us need an external teacher to lead us to need an external one to lead us to the internal. Anyway, so that is yeah, a little bit digressing, but yeah. So that one word is I want to just sort of highlight that one. So by practicing the 5 forces, one must infuse one's mental stream, mental consciousness with joy, such as a young boy meeting his father after a long time, basically a reunion. So the father being the next life, and the boy being the dying life. So like a happy reunion for a child with their parent. Yeah. So when a child is able to reunite with their parent after being in the boarding school for a long time, then there is a happiness, joyfulness. Similarly, one should look forward to the next life with that. And that enthusiasm will rise once you practice once you follow the 5 forces, the practice of 5 forces. Yeah. Okay. So now we come to what is known as the Chige Dhamma. Now we come to what is known as the actual instruction at the time of death. Actual instructions to follow. The actual instructions to follow at the time of death. So there's actually 6 subcategories in that. The first one is to generate a strong sense of positive mindset or virtuous mindset. To cultivate a strong sense of virtuous mindset when the external signs appear at the time of death. So basically, how to cultivate a strong sense of positive mindset when the external signs appear. The second one is to reflect or to concentrate, to reflect on the ultimate truth, to reflect on the profundity of ultimate truth when the inner signs appear. So outer signs appear, cultivate virtuous activity, virtuous mind in general. Inner signs appear, cultivate concentration, reflection on the profundity of the ultimate truth, emptiness, basically. Then third one is when the dualistic minds to have a to remind yourself to push yourself to push yourself to what am I to remind yourself to push harder, to remind yourself to push harder at the time of dissolving, when the dissolution of the dualistic mindset comes. During that occurrence, or during the time of during the dissolution of the dualistic mindset, then remember to push harder into virtuous to virtuous activity, to virtue, yeah. Then there is something called 4 Tongba. You know Tongba, right? Tongba Ni. Emptiness, Tongba Ni. Tongba Ni is emptiness. Emptiness, everybody have heard before, right? So Tongba Ni is emptiness. And in the Tibetan word, Tongba stands for empty. So it's kind of misleading. So when we talk about emptiness to people usually think about something like completely empty, like a mug being empty or a house being empty, this and that. It's misleading. I think it's also misleading in every other language too. So basically, the emptiness means empty. Tongba. Sorry, the word tongba means empty or something sort of a voidness. Okay, so there's something called the 4 emptiness, or not 4 emptiness. That's very misleading. So the Tibetan word is tongba shi. Basically means the 4 voidness. Okay, let's go that way. 4 voidnesses. If you say 4 emptiness, that's going to be very misleading, because emptiness is usually to do with the ultimate truth, right? So the 4 voidnesses, 4 voidness. Okay. So they are called Tongpa, empty or voidness, Shinto Tongpa, or very empty or extreme voidness, Tongpa Chambo, or great voidness, and then Tamche Tongpa, or totally void or completely void. So void, extreme extreme void, great voidness, or void, and Tamji Tongba, completely void. So 4 Tongba, okay. So the next subcategories are on what to do during the first Tongba, second Tongba, third Tongba, etc. like that. So the first Tongba, which is the first void, right? The first Tongba is just void. During the voidness, to recognize the very nature of your mind, to be able to recognize the very nature of your mind during the first 3 Tongba, or the first 3 voidnesses. Voidness, extreme voidness, great voidness, and 3, right? Voidness, extreme voidness, and great voidness. So for these 3 stages, you must recognize the very nature of your mind. So the last one is known as the Tongba Shiba, the 4th Tongba, the 4th voidness, which is the complete voidness. At that time, we must so that at that time, that is the reunion of the mother and the daughter, mother and the son, basically the parent and the child, mother and son. So which mother and which son? So the mother's name is Wesel, and the son's name is also Wesel. Wu means light, Sel means clear. So clear light, mother clear light and son clear light. So son clear light is so basically Wesel, the so-called Wesel, or the clear light, is the subtlest form of mind. The mind, there's a gross level of mind which can see things, hear, all these things. These are mental sort of formations. And then we have the consciousness itself, which kind of oversees everything. All of which are very much vibrantly active during our alive moment. When we are alive, they are all what is the opposite of stagnant? Dormant. Active. And then any other suggestion? Dormant, and then what is the other one? I think we use the term manifest. The Tibetan we say Pala Nyewa, which is dormant, and then Wondokyuba, which is manifest. Something that has manifested and something that is dormant. So there are mental states, okay? There are mental states, very subtle mental states that remain dormant during our daily life in general, mostly not coming out, mostly not manifesting, right? Not active, you can say. I usually use the example of a SIM card with activation, without activation. If you put the SIM card, if you don't call the company, there's no activation, right? So it's useless. But once you do the, I don't know, the instruction, whatever that thing, the SIM gets activated, then it becomes manifest. Without that, it's dormant. It's SIM card useless. Especially nowadays with eSIM, it's much more makes sense. So a mobile phone is dead without with an inactive SIM card. So just like that, there are the mental formations that remain dormant during our daily lifetime, mostly. That only arises, the subtle mind only arises during the crucial moment of death, right? Actually, it's said to the Nyumesim, okay? Tibetan, we call it Nyumesim, yeah? Nyuma means innate nature, like indigenous, like innate, right? So innate nature, innate mind. So that innate mind is there, but it's inactive. It does not rise in our daily activities. It does rise at a certain moment in our day-to-day lifetime, but for a flicker of millisecond, okay, millisecond of a millisecond, very short period, it comes, and we are not able to utilize them. When you are at the time of death, it's a little longer. And if you are well versed in your practices, especially in emptiness and that, you can actually utilize that moment. You can even extend it and then use that subtle mind. So the more subtle it is, the more subtle it is, the freer it is from all distraction. So basically, it means like total concentration into whatever you're focusing, right? So then it sort of advances your practices. It sort of, for lack of a better word, it rapidifies your practices. It gives a like a jump start, right? That so that you can realize emptiness, ultimate truth, everything in the time of death, like that. So maybe I'll just say it here today, but I will more later. So in our living moment, there are four occasions when we are living. In general, there are four occasions when hello? Yeah. Yeah. So you so the four moment the yeah, when you're unconscious, you feel unconscious. Sometimes people say you come back from the death, right? How to say? Some people say we come from the death, return from the death. What is the word for that? There's a word. Near-death experience, isn't it? Yeah. So that thing. So people basically you are unconscious. You're not really dead. Okay, just complete unconsciousness. So during complete unconscious state, there's a term for that. I forgot. Anyway, so at that time, the dormant mind actually manifests. It appears. It comes. But if you are unfamiliar with your practices, you cannot utilize that. Then when at the time of yawning, yeah, when you're yawning, there's a slight moment because yawning is a form of like going sort of dormant or going, what to say? I forgot the word now. Anyway, you are retreating, right, when you yawn. So at the time of yawning, there's a slight moment comes when you can the dormant mind manifest. But when you are yawning, you have no control, no focus, nothing. You cannot use that too. And another moment is um, during an orgasmic climax. That one, unless you are very skillful, usually you are lost in the play, in the act. So you forget, you cannot utilize that. Then the other one is the death. So the four moments. Unconscious, yawning, orgasm, and dying or death, right? So all these three, or these four instances, the vessel or the clear light, it's also called clear light. It's also called the innate mind. Okay, basically the subtlest mind. Shindu, tower, Nyugme, Sem, Tibetan. Shindu means very or extreme. Tower means subtle. Nyugma means innate. Sem means mind. Yeah. The very subtle or extremely subtle innate mind. So those are the instances when it arises. So just a short introduction. We'll come to those in great detail if we need to be here. Okay. So yeah, vessel Mabuteba. Basically, what that means is the mother clear light and the sun clear light having a reunion. So the sun clear light is the innate mind at the time of death. The innate mind, the subtle, most subtle, the subtlest innate mind, of course, travels from this life to the next. So the subtlest travel, so the subtlest, the most subtle, the subtlest innate mind at the time of death, from the dying person, it's called the who or the sun. Then at the time of the intermediate state, that is called the ma or the mother. So basically, the reunion of the mother and the son. Yeah. So reunion of the mother and so a son can only recognize his mother only if she is his mother, right? So basically what that means is for the son to recognize the mother at that crucial moment, she has to give birth to that son. In other words, to put it more simply, if you are familiar with the idea of emptiness, and if you are familiar with your practices, then that practice can be extended during the Bardo intermediate state, during the dying state, during the dying state. Right? If you are not familiar with the practice when you are lively, active, everything joyful, then at that crucial moment, you will not be able to recognize her because she is not your mother, because she never gave birth to you. You meaning the clear light. The clear light is of course there, but the term clear, the sun clear light and the mother clear light only comes if you have done your practice properly. Otherwise, it's just regular clear light. So the wisdom mabut treva, the reunion of the clear, the mother and the sun clear light, the reunion can only happen if you are familiar with your practice. To reunite, you have to be familiar. Right? Yeah. So the familiar, the recognition of the mother clear light with the sun clear light at the time of the fourth voidness, which is the complete voidness, right? Complete voidness. And at the time of all four voidnesses, right? All four voidnesses, not to separate from the union of bliss and emptiness. They don't. So there's something called in Sutra, usually we talk about the wisdom and the compassion, right? Wisdom, emptiness, compassion, bodhicitta, etc. The wisdom and method, sorry. Method is compassion, bodhicitta. Wisdom is emptiness, this and that. The wisdom is the mind that recognizes, the perception that recognizes emptiness, this and that. In Tantrayana, the union is usually between the Dewa and Tongpa. Tongpa is there, the emptiness is there. Instead of saying Tap, which is the method, we use the term bliss, the great bliss. Yeah. So basically, not to be separated from the practice of Dewa and Tongpa, or the union of bliss and empty. Yeah. At all four moments of emptiness, or all four moments of voidness. So in order to highlight that, the following line comes up. Sachu melon Juan Rimgi Tim Luigi Doctor Kana Kamshins trade you Uze Nada Jimbesi Gesaptopic or Chingilo. English. Earth, water, fire, and wind elements gradually dissolve. Bodily strength departs. The mouth and nose dry and contract. When warmth withdraws and breathing becomes labored and gasping, may a strong virtuous mind arise. So now this is called the dissolution of the four elements, right? Or the five elements, if you like. Or you can say four elements into the fifth element. So the fifth element being the mental consciousness, yeah, sim, ego sim. Four elements: earth, water, fire, and sorry, earth, water. No, starts with earth, right? Sachu melon, earth, water, fire, wind. Yeah, there's the four element and the consciousness, right? And so we discussed a little bit last night. So the definition for sa or earth is that something that is firm and hard. So that means so dissolution of the earth is nothing to do with actual dissolution of the earth element, this and that. But it was called as such so that it is easier for one to visualize. So it's not an actual dissolution. So usually we say earth dissolving into water, dissolving into fire, dissolving into wind, dissolving into mental consciousness. But in reality, it is not dissolving into each of these elements. So the term into dissolving into the next element is phrased in such a way when the first element weakens and the second element rises, and the third element, second element weakens, and the third element rises. It doesn't really rise, but when one element is weakened, the other one becomes, how to say, more sensitive, right? So when the first element, let's say the fire element, is weakened, then it's called the dissolution of the fire element into the water, etc., like that. So the earth element is associated with the firmness of the body. So when the person is at the time of death, dying, starts to become weak, fragile, infirm, all that. And then the body becomes, very how to say, hard to move and all that, and started drying. Then that is known as earth element dissolving into the water element. So during the water element, what happens is the water, it dissolves into the water element, and then the water element dissolves into the fire element. So water element dissolves into the fire element. That time the body started to lose its composure. Body started to, when you look at that person looks much weaker and dry and kind of what we usually say, person looks like a lifeless body, right? So basically the body started lose its composure. Yeah. And from the personal experience, from the person who was dying, you started to the mouth started to dry up, and the eyes, everything started to dry up. So basically these things start to happen. Then when the water dissolves into the this is water dissolving into fire. Basically means water element is gone, fire element is there. So only two elements remain. Okay? Then the water element, the term used is water element dissolving into the fire, right? Now the fire element dissolves into the wind. As I said, it doesn't really dissolve into the other element. This is just a framing. It's framed as such. What actually happens is the preceding elements have just weakened, has gone, is no longer not utilizable. So when the fire element is weakening, then we call it fire element dissolving. So when the fire element dissolve, then the body starts to lose heat, warmth. You will touch the person, they start to feel cold. So in general, according to most of the Dharma text, including this one, it is said that if you are a very sinful person, if you have accumulated a lot of sinful activities, or if you are a very, virtuous person, done a lot of good activities all your life, accumulate a lot of good karma, basically a good person, bad person, right? For a negative person, for a person who have accumulated a lot of negative karma, the heat will so the heat actually has to decrease from the edge of the body, edge meaning the upper edge here, the lower edge at the toe, right? So it decreases from the edges, and then it culminates at the center out to the central channel where it has 8 petal chakra. It has to come there. So if it's a negative person, someone who has accumulated a lot of negative karma, the heat start decreasing, or heat start collecting, or heat start decreasing from the upper body. It starts decreasing. Basically, the upper body starts getting cold from the head, basically from the shoulder, not from the head, okay? From the shoulder, it starts getting colder, and then the heat will start go this way, from up to down. If the person has accumulated a lot of positive karma, then the heat start decreasing from the bottom, the tip, the toes, etc., like that. So it may or may not be visible, or what is the word for that? Detectable. Yeah, it may or may not be detectable for the outsider, okay? But the person who is dying, he himself can feel that. But if the heat is going from down, then yeah, that means you have a lot of negative accumulate a lot of negative karma. If heat is drawn from the bottom or from the feet, it means you have a lot of positive karma, like that. Then of course the body becomes completely lifeless. Starts to look completely lifeless. Yeah, total loss of composure. And when the wind energy dissolves into the mental consciousness, then you have the gasping, the berated sort of the spasm, and the breathing is become abnormal, and all that thing, right? That happen. So these are the dissolution of the 4 elements. And these 4 elements, the dissolution of the 4 elements is known as the 4 outer signs, external signs, okay? External signs. So when the external sign take place, at the same time, the internal signs also take place. So the internal sign is what we just discussed, the 4 emptiness, 4 voidnesses, right? Tongpa, the voidness, extreme voidness, great voidness, and completely void, right? And that voidness is a name that was given. That voidness is the name given to the mental sort of state that you go through at that process, at the dying process. So this mental state that you go through is known by 4 different names: Nawa, Chepa, Toba, and Vessel. Vessel we already discussed. Vessel is clear light. Nawa means in Tibetan, Nawa is light. Nawa can be light. Nawa is light. So I think usually in most of the translation it's luminosity. So luminosity. Nawa, Chepa is increase, or to extend or expand. Yeah, usually translated as increase. Nyertop is called Toba, or Nyertop. The full name is Nyertop. That is regarded as, that is translated as close attainment, and then clear light. So the name of the mental state that you go through, the mental process, the mental state that take place during time of death is luminous take place at the time of voidness. It takes time. It takes at the same time as earth dissolving into water. Earth dissolve into water takes at the same time the voidness, the state that you go through, you feel is voidness, a mere void. Okay, This is the state that you are in, and the mental factor, the mental perception, the mindset that you have is called luminous. No, luminous. Then then the earth, sorry, the fire into water, right? Right. Such the water to fire. At that time, what happens is the chepa, the increase. The mindset at that time is known as increase. I will come to that. What increase means? It increase. This is also at the time when the Shinto Tomba, or the extreme voidness is. So extreme voidness and the chepa, or increase, is same. Increase is the name of the mind, the mindset, and the sort of mood that you have, or the sort of what is the atmosphere that you feel, is extreme voidness. Okay. Or very void. Then water into fire. Water into fire. Externally, water dissolve into fire. Internally, now Toba is the close attainment. Now increase, and from increase, so we have the luminosity, increase, and close attainment, right? So at that time, so this dissolution actually do take place. Okay, the luminous is dissolved into increase is dissolved into close attainment, and close attainment dissolved into the clear light, like that. So then the third one is water, fire, right? Fire into the wind. That time, close attainment takes place, and close attainment takes place, and it is also known as the Tongpa Chambu, or the great void, right? Voidness, extreme voidness, great voidness, and the great voidness dissolve into consciousness, right? At the same time, the wind energy dissolve into mental consciousness. When the wind energy dissolve outerly, externally, when the wind energy dissolves into the mental consciousness, internally, the signs are the close attainment. The close attainment dissolves into clear light. Clear light goes on the same level with mental consciousness. Okay, like that. No, then when the close light, four of them, right? I'm sorry. So close attainment, yeah. When when the fire dissolves into the wind energy, then the close attainment takes place. Okay, and after that, the close attainment enters into the wind energy. So the wind energy, when the fire energy goes into the wind energy, or dissolves into the wind energy, then at that time, the third tomba, which is the close attainment, rises. Okay, and after that, the close attainment dissolves into the clear light, like that. Okay. So what is this confusing thing about increase, close attainment, and what is the other one? I forgot. Clear light, not clear light, luminosity. Yeah, luminosity. Nawa, cheba. We usually Tibetan we say nang che top sum, right? Nang is nawa, luminosity. Che is cheba, increase. Then top is near top, full name. So these three things is actually a mental formation, or a mental state. This mental state actually has 80 different sub-mental states within it. Okay, this is usually known as the Kun Tok Giju. Kun means all, Tok means conceptual. Giju means 80. 80 wholly conceptual mindsets. So these 80 are divided into 3 categories. Now we're rushing to luminosity has 33 or 32. I may be wrong, okay? 32 or 33 in luminosity. 32, I think, subcategories of mindset. Okay. Then increase has 40. The last one, close attainment, 8. So what is this 3 thing? Right? Close attainment, increase, and luminosity. Basically, this is actually connected to something very popular in Buddhist psychology. The 3 poisons: anger, attachment, and ignorance. So Nama or luminosity is connected to. Luminosity is basically all the mental formations related to anger or animosity, or that thing. There are 33 of them, 32 or 33. If you have the 48, then 32 or 33. 32, right? 32, yeah. So 32 mental afflictions, 32 mental afflictions with the anger category, hatred category. 40 with the attachment category. Then 8 with the ignorance category. So to know all that, you have to look up in the the Guhya Samaja Tantra. All these are listed out very well. So basically, it goes something like fearing fearing to embrace people or things that you dislike, which is a form of anger. So the Tibetan, in English, the term anger does not do much justice to this word. The Tibetan Shedang. The word Tibetan Shedang, or Sanskrit, I think is Krodha, has the connotation of she is like from deep down, from the very bottom of your heart. That is she. Dang means to revoke from very deep down your mind, to have a very strong repulsion. That is the meaning of anger. Okay, so anger of the 3 poisons, the anger, this is what it refers to. Anger does not necessarily means being crazy, being mad about something, this and that. So anyway, so that is called Nawa, okay, luminosity. So because with anger, usually we say burning anger. With anger, you are flaming, right? So it is to do with it's called it was given the term Nawa or luminous. The increase or expand, the Tibetan word che, the word che in Tibetan, che, is also the same word we use for siblings, because siblings are extension of the family, right? You're expanding your family with your siblings. So basically, it has the connotation of extension, expanding at that, and like that. So this word, because that is likened to, that is associated with attachment. So attachment, so there are many different forms of attachment. Usually we think attachment means just have a craving, like lust, this and that, but not necessarily so. The very good, the best example, the very good example given in the sutra for dvacha, for attachment, is how to say, putting a drop of oil on a piece of paper. So when you drop there, it keeps expanding like that. It's attached, of course, and then it just keeps expanding. It goes on and on and on. It terrorizes, or it territorializes, keeps getting more and more space, and then it doesn't leave any of them. You cannot wash it off, nothing. So that is that one. Then ignorance. Ignorance is called nyertop, the close attainment. To attain is to get. Ignorance doesn't get the truth. It's close to getting the truth. In meaning, we think we are getting the truth, but we are not getting because of ignorance. So ignorance is called close attainment. Okay. So basically 33, 32, I forgot. 32, 48. So all that makes up 80. That is called the 80 natural kundo, Ranshin Geju kundo. Okay. 80 natural conceptual concepts. So all this conceptual thought spattered all over. These make your mind, everything distracted, all that. So these are, so during the dissolution time, like for example, like the dissolving of the increase, the 40 mindset or mental formation, mental state associated with attachment decreases, gone, not there. So basically this happens, and at the time of death, like when the clear light appears, you do not have any emotion like good, bad, nothing, just merely conscious of the fact. So what fact? If you are a, if you are a veteran practitioner, then at that moment, the fact is the ultimate truth. You can perceive the ultimate truth at that moment. Otherwise, the truth is just a vast emptiness. So there was a okay. Okay. Oh yeah. Then at that moment, Tongba, those four stages of Tongba, the voidness, you would have different emotions, which is Tongba, and different moods, which is total emptiness, great emptiness, like that. Basically, you feel the first emptiness is just empty, just void, just vacuum, just empty. Then at the time of increase, so the four stages, right? Different moment, basically the voidness starts to get more and more intense. Okay, so that's why it's called the four tongba, or four voidnesses. So at the same time, you would have different visions at that time. Okay. Oh, there's another thing there. There's one thing called Nawa Karlamba. Nawa is luminosity. Luminosity has the light of the color of white color. Luminosity, white. Luminosity is white. Cheba Marlamba. Increase is red. Nyertop Naglamba. The close attainment is dark. This is easy to understand, darkness, right? So the white appearance at the time of increase, white appearance at the time of luminosity, and the red appearance at the time of increase. So how this is associated with, we just talk about the rubbing of or heat decreasing, right? When the heat is collected, or when the heat start to decrease, the heat start to move from the bottom of this and that. At the same time, there's something called, we have the channel and the nadis and the chakras and all this. So what happened at that time is from the central channel, the Avaduti, which is white, which is blue. Then on the right, we have the red lalana, rasana. And then on the left, we have the lalana. So anyway, so the central channel, within the central channel, the heat start decreasing, as we just discussed. At the same time, what is known as the kam. So kam can be translated as discharge. Okay. So there is something called the white discharge and the red discharge. Red discharge is basically blood. White discharge is semen. So according to the tantric practice, the semen originates from the crown chakra, the crown. So at that time, when the heat is dissolving, of course, according to your good karma, bad karma, whatever, heat starts to dissolve from here or there. But at the end, heat does dissolve from both parts, right? From the bottom as well as the top. So when heat starts dissolving, at the same time, the what do you call that? The semen or the white discharge originating from your crown chakra starts dissolving. It starts to, what we usually, the term we use is starts melting, okay? When it starts to melt, basically it melts or it dissolves into the central chakra. So when that, because the semen is white, so when it starts dissolving into the central channel, then because it's white or it's sort of a, transparent sort of whitish sort of form, lightish form, then you have the appearance of light. That's why it's called luminosity, okay? And then, so all these things takes place in like 10 seconds to 10 minutes, different stages for different people, okay? Not certain. Then at the same time, the red discharge or the blood comes from the navel. It comes from it dissolves, it starts decreasing from the navel. Basically, it just gets pushed up from the navel. So it gets pushed up from the navel and then culminates at the central channel up to the central channel, the 8-petal central channel, central chakra, through the central channel to the central chakra. Yeah. So when it culminates there, because the red discharge is red, then you have the red appearance. That's why it's called Chevamarnaba, or the increase is red. And then all of them get dissolved into both of them get dissolved into the central chakra, and at the combination of dissolution of both of them, the climatic moment of the dissolving of all these two discharges, then a total darkness comes. That's why it's called Nyatok Nahlamba. The close appearance has the color of total darkness. Nyatok Nahlamba right there. So all these things take place. Like that. I think we time's up. And today going very deep. I don't know if it's helpful or not, but okay. Let me try to put it at a very proper sort of. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just leave it here for today. Then tomorrow we'll pick up. So I will end it with like this. So at that crucial moment of dissolution, when the dissolution, external dissolution and as well as the internal dissolution takes place, and when you are able to recognize, if you practice now, you can recognize later. So when you are able to recognize those crucial moments of dissolution, external as well as internal signs, and at that time, if you are able to engage in virtuous activity, then there is no doubt that you will have a swift and higher rebirth in the next life. Yeah. So let's stop it with this good conclusion. Yeah. Thank you. Question? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this is okay. So this is actually the not even Bardo yet. Okay. Tomorrow Bardo comes. This is still dying. We are still on the dying stage. You have not died yet. So yeah. Then okay. Yeah. So okay. So your question, direct answer to your question is, Bardo can last maximum 7 days. The life of a Bardoa, life of an intermediate being, maximum is 7 days. And they have to die at the end of the 7th day. If, for example, if you die, today is what, Tuesday? Monday. If I die Tuesday, okay, Tuesday, then I have to, my Bardo will appear immediately. Oh, so I remember yesterday someone asked a question if everybody has to go through Bardo or not. So not everybody has to go through Bardo, right? Of course, there are special beings in that. So not going through Bardo can either be very good or very bad. So there are two people. One is the special beings like reincarnated bodhisattvas have to go through, or very short, actually. They have to go through, I'm sorry. Actually, there's no one who doesn't have to go through Bardo. I mean, anyone who does not go through Bardo, that's a very bad news. So anyone who has committed what is known as the 5 heinous crime does not have to go through the Bardo. Killing your father, killing your mother, killing a bodhisattva, arahat, and harming a bodhisattva, harming a Buddha, enlightened being, Tathagata, and creating a rift between a schism between two Sangha group. So these are the 5 heinous crime. If you do that, good news is you don't have to go through Bardo. Bad news is you have to go directly to infernal hell, right? That one. So Bardo lasts for 7 days, and on the 7th day, like I died today, on the next Tuesday, that Bardo has to die once again. So it will keep rebirthing, or it will keep being born again and again. There are 4 types of birthing or being born. The Bardo born is magical born. Okay, I will explain that tomorrow. So by the end of the 7th week, it has to find a place to be born in one of the 6 realms. So the Bardo being, the Bardo living being, the Bardo person is considered none of the 6th realm. Not animal, not human, none of that. So after the 7th week, he has to find a place to be born. He will be born in one of the 6 realms. That's sorry. Yes, you have no choice. 7th day. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. You can use this when you, yeah, okay. You can use this.